There's panic on the London Stock Exchange screens. Endeavour Mining shares lost 15% of their value in a single day. Phones at British financial giants are ringing non-stop. News from Burkina Faso was enough to shake global gold markets. We are taking back our minds. The world's youngest head of state, Ibrahim Traoré, made an unexpected move that caused Western companies to experience a nightmare. With an $80 million deal, he nationalized the country's two most valuable gold mines. How did this young leader dare to challenge the world's economic giants? How will this power struggle over gold mines shape Africa's future economic and political map? And most importantly, what is the strategic plan hidden behind this move that even Western intelligence services haven't fully decoded? Ibrahim Traoré's story began in an ordinary village. Born in 1988 in Bondoku, a town in Burkina Faso, Traoré was one of hundreds of poor children in the country. However, he stood out as a quiet and talented student. He continued his education under difficult conditions and studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou. During his university years, his research on Africa's natural resources deeply affected him. Despite the continent's immense wealth, the poverty of its people was a contradiction that young Traoré felt needed to be answered. At university, Traoré was an active member of both the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist-leaning Burkina National Student Association, RNEB. During his activities at RNEB, he became known for defending his classmates in disputes and demonstrated leadership qualities at an early age. He graduated from the university with honors, joining the army in 2009. Traoré rose quickly and reached the rank of lieutenant in 2014. He went to Mali on a UN peacekeeping mission. What he saw there deeply affected him. The fundamental reason behind the conflicts and instability in Mali was the struggle to control the country's rich resources. Western companies and their local collaborator were plundering the country's natural resources. During his mission in Mali, Traoré successfully survived a complex attack by jihadist extremists in northern Timbuktu. At the age of 26, Traoré had begun to be recognized for his courage and leadership qualities. Among soldiers, he was described as willful, brave, and close to his men. His experience in Mali germinated an idea in Traoré's mind. Africa's wealth should belong to African peoples. Promoted to the rank of captain in 2020, Traoré played an important role in the fight against the insurgency in Burkina Faso between 2019 and 2022. He was among the officers who supported the military coup in January 2022 and helped bring the military junta called the Patriotic Movement for Safeguard and Restoration (MPSR) to power from March 2022. He was appointed head of an artillery regiment in Kaya. However, the inability of the coup leader, Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, to effectively combat the jihadist insurgency created discontent among young officers. Traoré and other officers tried to refocus Damiba on their rebellion, but eventually decided to overthrow him due to Damiba's diversion from their goals. The second coup on September 30, 2022, unexpectedly brought Traoré to the leadership of the country. At the age of 34, the world's youngest head of state, Traoré took extraordinary steps from day one. Takinga, harsh stance against the former colonial power, France. He expelled French soldiers from the country, and rejected financial military aid, had developed close relations with Russia and Turkey. In April 2023, he declared a general mobilization to support the military and promised to recapture areas seized by rebel forces. But his most striking move came towards the end of 2024. In a televised address to the nation, Traoré announced that Burkina Faso would nationalize its gold mines. "We know how to extract our gold, and I don't understand why we should allow multinational companies to do it. That's why I'm announcing that we will withdraw mining permits. We will do this ourselves." Their words created a shock effect in Western capitals. All Western powers from America to England, from France to Canada, went on alert. Burkina Faso is Africa's fourth largest gold producer, producing about 67 tons of gold annually. This figure increased by more than 10% from 61 tons in 2021 to 67 tons in 2023, providing the state with $544 million in revenue. Gold constitutes more than 70% of the country's export revenues and about 10% of its GDP. There are currently 17 industrial mines in the country, all of which are gold mines. The companies operating those mines come primarily from Australia, Canada, Russia, and Turkey. Following Traoré's nationalization decision, the share value of Endeavour Mining, which is listed on the London Stock Exchange and claims to be West Africa's largest gold producer, fell by 15% in a single day. Endeavour Mining was one of the largest private employers in the Sahel region, and the mines affiliated with the company paid billions of CFA francs in taxes to the Burkina Faso state. This shockwave spread to other gold mining companies. The valuations of Canadian companies, Fortuna Silver Mines, and Horizon Gold fell by 10%. Australia's West African Resources lost millions of dollars on the Australian Stock Exchange. The Burkina Faso government quickly moved to nationalize the Bongouan-Wagnian gold mines for $80 million according to the agreement. The Burkina Faso government will pay $60 million to London-based Endeavour Mining, and their remaining $20 million will be paid through a 3% royalty on gold sold from the Wagnian mines. This move was supported by changes to Burkina Faso's mining code. The new mining law stipulates that the state holds a 10% stake in each mining project and has the option to purchase an additional 20% during the first 2 years of commercial production. Additionally, a new state mining company called Burkina Faso Mining Participation Company (SOPAMB) was established. SuperMay will be used to manage nationalized mines and take control of more mines. Traoré's nationalization decision was a strategic loss for Western companies. Bongou and Wagnion mines were two of the country's largest and most profitable mines. Moreover, this move could set a precedent for the nationalization of other mines. Indeed, Burkina Faso Prime Minister Jean-Emmanuel Ouédraogo announced in late April that the government plans to control more foreign-owned industrial mines. So, PMEB has already recovered 2 industrial mines, notably Bong and Wagni, and this will continue. Following this nationalization move, the Burkina Faso government approved the establishment of the country's first gold refinery. This refinery will process approximately 400 kilos of gold per day and refine 150 tons of gold annually. Additionally, the refinery will create 100 direct and 5,000 indirect jobs. Thus, gold extracted in the country will be processed domestically instead of being exported unrefined, and will be sold with higher added value. In February 2024, Traoré ordered the suspension of export permits for small-scale private gold production. This move aims to prevent smuggling and regulate the artisanal gold sector. However, Traoré's gold revolution has not only economic but also geopolitical dimensions. In 2023, Burkina Faso, along with its neighbors Mali and Niger, established the Alliance of Sahel States. All 3 countries are under military administrations and are pursuing a policy of distancing themselves from Western influence. In January 2024, the 3 countries announced their withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States. This alliance is pursuing a joint strategy to gain control of their natural resources and achieve economic independence. Increasingly, Western mining companies are reducing or completely withdrawing their presence in the region. Canadian Fortuna Mining decided last month to sell its stake in the Yamoussoukro gold mine in Burkina Faso for $130 million. An analyst commented on this sale. This transaction improves the company's jurisdiction profile. In other words, exiting Burkina Faso reduces the company's risk profile. On the other hand, Russian companies are rapidly replacing Western companies. Last month, Burkina Faso government granted an industrial mining license to the Russian mining company, Node Gold, for the new gold deposit in the Vogo region of the country. Node Gold also operates the Bissa and Boli mines in the country. The Neomini is expected to produce approximately 20.22 metric tons of gold over its 8-year lifetime. This is worth approximately $1.5 billion at today's prices. Traoré's nationalization move is causing increasing concern in the West. Commander of the United States Africa Command, General Michael Langley, accused Traoré in a U.S. Senate hearing of using Burkina Faso's gold reserves for his own security rather than for the benefit of the population. This statement caused large protests in Burkina Faso. Thousands gathered at Revolution Square in Ouagadougou, chanting "Long Live Captain Traoré," and some carrying banners with General Langley's photo with slave written in red marker. But Traoré continues. on his path disregarding Western criticisms because gold prices have risen by more than 25% in the past year and continue to rise due to global economic uncertainties. This increases the value of the nationalized mines and Burkina Faso's potential revenues. Traoré plans to direct the revenues to infrastructure projects, education, and health services. In fact, Traoré's nationalization move is reminiscent of the policies of Thomas Sankara, who ruled the country in the 1980s and was known as Africa's Chivara. Sankara also believed that the country's natural resources should be used for the benefit of African peoples. He also opposed Western financial institutions and advocated for Burkina Faso self-sufficiency. However, Sankara was assassinated in 1987. Many historians claim that France and the CIA were behind this assassination. Now Traoré continues Sankara's struggle to control Burkina Faso's natural resources and gain the country's economic independence. And today, geopolitical conditions are different from Sankara's time. Powerful actors like Russia and China are challenging Western influence in Africa and offering alternative partnerships. This provides Traoré with room for maneuver that Sankara did not have. So what effects will this nationalization move have on Burkina Faso's economy? Economists are divided. Western economists suggest that foreign investments will decrease and this will harm the economy. However, African-centered economists argue that keeping a larger portion of the income from natural resources within the country will support economic growth in the long term. Before Burkina Faso's nationalization of gold mines, a large portion of the value of gold produced in the country went to foreign companies. The government only received a share from taxes and royalties. After nationalization, all income will flow directly to the state treasury. This means additional annual income of over $500 million. This could increase the country's annual budget by approximately 15%. This increase could provide resources for more schools, hospitals, and infrastructure projects. Burkina Faso's new mining policy prioritizes domestic expertise and local suppliers. The government describes this policy as a revolution in how mineral wealth is managed. Additionally, the government is creating a national gold reserve for the first time in the country's history. The Burkina Faso Precious Metals Company SUM collected more than 8 tons of gold in 2024 and more than 11 tons of gold in the first quarter of 2024. This gold comes mostly from artisanal sources. The government's plan is to use this gold for national development projects. However, the nationalization move also has risks. Burkina Faso has been fighting Islamist militants since 2015, and a large part of the northern and eastern regions of the country are outside the government's control. Security issues can make mining activities difficult. Additionally, technical expertise and capital are required for the efficient operation of nationalized mines. Another risk is potential retaliatory actions from the West. Historical examples show that the nationalization of natural resources is often met with economic sanctions and even military interventions. However, Traoré also appears prepared against possible Western reactions by developing close relations with Russia and China. He is creating alternative trade and investment channels. Additionally, the Alliance of Sahel States also offers a regional defense and economic cooperation mechanism. Last month, Burkina Faso security forces announced that they had foiled a major plot aimed at overthrowing Traoré. Security Minister Mohamed Osana claimed that those planning the plot were based in Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso's neighbor and France's ally. According to Sana, the conspirators wanted to plunge the country into total chaos and place it under the supervision of an international organization. This statement points to Western powers' efforts to destabilize the Traoré regime. The people of Burkina Faso appear to support Traoré's policies. According to Afrobarometer reports, nearly 2/3 of Burkinabe support military intervention and 66% accept military rule. This is a significant increase from 24% in 2012. Traoré's popularity stems not only from nostalgia for military rule, but also from his economic and social policies. Traoré reversed a salary increase for government officials agreed under his predecessor. While he remains on his earnings as a military captain as part of efforts to take ownership and control of the country's mineral resources, he nationalized 2 gold mines and stopped exporting unrefined gold to Europe. Instead, he established a national gold refinery with an annual processing capacity of 150 tons. Other significant achievements include establishing the National Support Center for Artisanal Cotton Processing, building a new airport, the Ouagadougou-Dansine Airport, and substantial agricultural investments. The outcome of this political and economic struggle could affect the future not only of Burkina Faso, but of all of Africa. If Traoré succeeds, the balance of power over the control of Africa's natural resources may change, and the continent may take a step towards true economic independence. But if he fails, this will be a major blow to African countries' efforts to control their natural resources. Traoré's nationalization move may also inspire other mineral-rich African countries. Countries like Ghana, Tanzania, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo may also take similar steps. This could create an earthquake effect for the global mining industry and reduce Western economic influence in Africa. In conclusion, Ibrahim Traoré's $80 million gold move could be a new turning point in the struggle for control over Africa's natural resources. This move is a development with not only economic but also geopolitical and historical dimensions. Will Burkina Faso's bold step be an important advance on Africa's path to true economic independence, or a new disappointment? Time will tell, but for now, all eyes are on how the world's youngest leader will deal with one of Africa's oldest problems, foreign control of natural resources. And what strategy will the West develop against this young leader's gold move?